The subprimal we have here is the short loin, the bone-in short loin, where we'll cut the bone-in steaks, the porterhouse, and the T-bone. If we remember back to Dr. Griffin's fabrication of the entire side, we'll remember that the short loin, it has both the strip loin and the tenderloin present. The short loin contains a major portion of the backbone here, the vertebra, separating internally that separate the tenderloin from the strip loin. Prior to portioning, there's a couple of things we need to trim. There's some heavy connective tissue on the top side of the tenderloin here that will remove this. Some of the heavy connective tissue over the top side along the bone surface here. We'll also trim away some of the heavy kidney fat. Now that we've trimmed this subprimal, we're ready to start portioning, and we'll do this on the bandsaw. And we'll always start from this bigger end. This is where the tenderloin is bigger in diameter, and as you see, as we work towards the rib end of this short loin, the tenderloin starts to taper off. Here on the short loin, you can see, again, we've taken a face cut to square that first cut so that we have a good first steak. It starts on the large end where the tenderloin is larger. You can see the diameter of that tenderloin there. Portion that steak. Now he's trimming the fat around the external surface. Make sure the tail length is within spec. And again, bone dust on the surface that will scrape off prior to packaging. So with each steak, you'll trim the external fat surface with the saw there. And if the tail length needs to be trimmed, you'll do that also. Here we have the portioned short loin. Again, we started on the large end, the sirloin end of the short loin, where the tenderloin is largest and also has the gluteus muscle or the sirloin muscle there. We move forward in the short loin, cutting porterhouses, then T-bones, then an end piece at the end that we would bone out and have an opportunity to make a boneless or a bone-in strip steak. We look at these steaks from the sirloin end. We see the larger fillet muscles and the presence of the gluteus muscle. As we begin to move towards the front of the subprimal, this is where we get into what do we call a porterhouse and what do we call a T-bone. What we're looking for is at least 1.5 inches in diameter of that fillet. You can see we're over 2 inches here. As we move down, we're right at 1.5 inches here, right at just over 1.5 inches still. We get down to this steak, what we're going to call our last porterhouse, because as we get to this next steak, the measurement on this tenderloin is just under 1.5 inches. So we'll go ahead and call these last two steaks T-bones because of the size of the tenderloin. We're just under 1.5 inches here and around 1.25 inches here.